I want to take you back to my early childhood. I was around 9 and was gifted an N64 along with a number of games from a relative whose kid was moving away to college and didn't want it anymore. It was my first ever game console and came with games that are to this day still some of my favorites of all time. Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart 64, and Mario Party 2 and 3. Yeah, it didn't come with Mario Party 1 for some reason. The collection I was given came with the second and third Tony Hawk games on the N64, oddly enough excluding the first game. I really don't know why my second cousin seemed to like to collect trilogies, but skipped the first installment. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with these two games. Yeah, they might not have been the best versions, especially since I didn't even have an N64 memory card, meaning I couldn't even save my progress, but overall, they were a blast. However, I basically never touched any Tony Hawk game for more than a few minutes in over a decade now. So, let's change that, and revisit the Tony Hawk series, starting with the first game, which I actually never got to play as a kid. And I'm playing the Dreamcast version because 1, it's the best port of it besides the remake, and 2, I don't think I've ever played a Dreamcast game on this channel before, and this poor thing needs some love. Anyway, let's go. We begin with what may be the most 90s game intro of all time, showing off all the world's best skaters around the time. It feels like a time capsule to the era, although I was born in the early 2000s, so I wouldn't know personally. Anyway, the first Tony Hawk establishes the groundwork for the whole franchise. Gameplay involves skateboarding around various places around the world and performing skate tricks. The main campaign is career mode, where you have to complete certain objectives in each level and only have 2 minutes each run, like scoring a certain amount of points with tricks, collecting all these letters to spell skate, or knocking crates over. When you achieve these goals, you get secret tapes. Yeah, we might need to give them to the FBI, guys. Anyway, skate tricks involve button combinations, and it takes a while to get the hang of it. To be honest, I suck at this game, and I especially sucked at the Tony Hawk games as a kid. I have the most trouble with the secret tapes that involve getting a high score. To get these really high scores, the best way to do so is to get combo special tricks, which again, takes a while to learn how to do so. And as a pro tip, be sure to memorize the various button combinations. It'll make your life so much easier if you do so. Each stage also has a hidden tape that you need to find. These are my favorite to get, and it's fun to explore around and figure out how to reach it. And funnily enough, as a kid, I remember not knowing what kind of tapes these were. Instead of imagining a VHS tape or something, I was thinking of just a regular old scotch roll of tape, or I guess a electrical tape or something. And no, it's not because I'm a Gen Zer. I actually watched my fair share of VHS tapes as a kid, for your information. It's because I was dumb. Then there's the competition stages, which involve getting as many points as possible without bailing. You earn medals when you do so, which unlocks certain stages. They involve 3 matches, which are exactly the same. Just get points and don't mess up your last match and ruin your streak. Thankfully, getting second or third still counts as a medal to unlock stuff, which is nice. One thing I love about the stages is how seemingly mundane they are, despite having prestigious locations, like a warehouse, a mall, or a school. Although some of the later ones are a bit more glamorous, like the streets of San Francisco. Although I do wonder why Tony and the gang are even allowed to skate in some of these places. Did they get permission from the owners? And it's pretty weird to hang out around a school to skate, as a grown 30-year-old man, I'm just saying. As you collect more and more of these secret tapes, you unlock new stages, boards, as well as increase some of your stats, just like an RPG. Although, one complaint I have is how you can't swap characters in career mode and continue where you left off, since each character has their own data, meaning you have to start all over. And speaking of the cast, it contains the man himself Tony Hawk, Bob Burnquist, Kareem Campbell, Rune Gilfberg, Bucky Lasek, Chad Muska, Andrew Reynolds, Geoff Rowley, Elisa Streamer, and Jamie Thomas. And I'm pretty sure I butchered quite a few of those names, and I apologize ahead of time. Anyway, I can only imagine how big of a deal having a cast full of real-life pro skaters was back in the 90s. But to a modern gamer who wasn't around back then, or isn't big on skateboarding history, these guys may as well be fictional characters like Mario or Luigi. One big distinguishing feature of the Tony Hawk franchise is its soundtrack. You see, a lot of these songs aren't original tracks, instead using songs from various artists. Now, while I do tend to dislike this in gaming, here it fits perfectly. The games just wouldn't have the same feel without it, and it gives them a really gritty time capsule vibe. On the downside, because of copyright, I can't play these songs for the video, so all these random songs from random games that don't really fit will have to do. And what's kind of funny is that it seems to be a common occurrence for those of us who played the series as kids to think that these songs originated from Tony Hawk. Like how as a kid, I thought that the song Blitzkrieg Bop, the hey, oh, let's go, that song. For the longest time, I thought it came from Tony Hawk 3, and I was pretty shocked to hear it play in Jimmy Neutron. The Dreamcast version of this game has the best quality audio for the songs, while the PS1 version is a little compressed, and the N64 version even more so. The N64 version also has less songs too, and has been censored. As a kid playing 2 and 3 on the N64, I had no idea that the original versions of these games had blood when you bailed, and it's kind of jarring to me playing this now. I mean, it's not very much, but still. Overall, as much as I love the N64, it had the worst versions of these games. If you can get the Dreamcast version, the graphics and audio are ridiculously better, being a 6th gen console and all. Surprisingly though, also, it barely costs that much more than like the PS1 and N64 versions, only being like $20 on eBay. And you even get these cool animations on his VMU screen, and yeah, I know, my ability to capture the footage of it looks like total ass. Or you could just get the remake, which includes the second game too, and that's probably a better idea. Moving back to all the violence, a staple of the Tony Hawk games is killing your skaters in brutal ways. This game, unfortunately, doesn't have any spiky pits of death or molten lava, but you can still at least jump to your death or get run over. And for some reason the game tells you not to do drugs. I'm not exactly sure what that has to do with what just happened, but okay, I won't. I promise. I'm serious. Now for a few criticisms of the game. Overall, I do love it. However, its age does show at times, the controls being the biggest flaw. They're a bit clunky, although me playing the Dreamcast version with a clunky Dreamcast controller doesn't really help. Again, it does take a little time to get used to the mechanics and gameplay system, and as a kid, I never really got the hang of it. Turning around can be a big problem at times too. It's kind of hard to work in tight spaces, and it leads to a lot of frustration when you waste a lot of time because it takes you a few seconds to get your bearings straight. I would really recommend that you read the manual and some guides online if you want to play this game, and have never played a Tony Hawk game before. I wouldn't exactly call it a hard game, but there are times I did wish I knew a few things. Most of all, that the longer you held the A button before jumping, the higher your jump would be. This would have been good to know for the mall secret tape. Forgive me all the hardcore Tony Hawk fans. It's been like 15 years since I touched a series, and I was never really all that good at the games as a kid, and I'm sure I'm making you all cringe watching my gameplay. I still love the games though. Please don't give me death threats. Outside of career mode, you have a 2-player mode, regular skate sessions, and free skate. The 2-player mode has 3 different match types: trick attack, graffiti, and horse. Graffiti has players trying to cover each part of the level with their color by doing skate tricks on them, kind of like a very early version of Splatoon. Trick attack involves trying to get as many points as possible, while horse has 2 players trying to outdo each other's tricks, and whoever loses gets a letter. If you get all the letters to spell horse, you lose. Now, when I recorded this gameplay, the only person I had on hand to play with me was my little sister, so yeah, it wasn't exactly competitive. Single session skate is, as the name implies, single skate sessions. You play for 2 minutes and try to rack up as many points as possible, and free skate allows you to skate in a level for an infinite amount of time. And that was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. By no means one of my favorite games ever, but it was still a fun title to pass the time with. The trick system and combos are fun to pull off. The career mode mixes the skateboarding gameplay with Mario 64, and it just has this peak Y2K aesthetic. However, since I did not grow up with it and played 2 and 3 before it, it's kind of hard for me to see it as it is, and I really wish I would have gotten to play 1 first, or at the very least, had gotten to play it as a kid. And if you want to try this game out for yourself, I'd highly recommend getting Tony Hawk 1+2. It's in HD and comes with the second game too. And speaking of which, let's continue this Tony Hawk journey of mine, because next time we're covering its sequel, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, well technically 2X. And who knows, maybe if enough of you guys watch these Tony Hawk videos, I'll cover 3 and 4 as well. Because when I decided to revisit Tony Hawk, I went a little wild and I got a lot of these games all at once. And these videos are also much easier to make than Pokemon or Zelda or Mario videos, and I really need to focus on making shorter videos for once. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and tell me your memories of this game in the comments, and of the Tony Hawk franchise in general. Anyway, until next time everyone.